I am a proud Black woman, and I've always known that I could never try 70%. It was always 110%.
She was the face of a generation. The first Black supermodel to dominate every runway, every magazine cover, every major designer's dream. Naomi Campbell didn't just walk into fashion history, she shattered its walls. But while the world obsessed over her looks, her walk, her power, Naomi was carefully keeping something else in the shadows. Because what most people don't know is that behind the cameras, she was building a life no one expected. One she refused to explain to the press. A secret family, 2 children whose names she's never revealed, no glossy covers, no big announcements, just subtle, quiet glimpses. And that silence, it wasn't random. Then came the whispers. The luxury charity she founded, once praised for its mission, now under investigation. The British government stepping in.
Just to support Fashion for Relief and America Cares, that's a nonprofit organization.
Funds allegedly misused. Luxury flights, lavish hotels, consultants accused of fraud. And through it all, Naomi stayed mostly silent. But the damage, already done. And just when things couldn't get messier, the internet caught fire. A viral video, a subtle nod, and suddenly fans were asking, is Naomi shading Rihanna? Was there a silent feud playing out behind couture and camera flashes? For years, Naomi Campbell was untouchable. But now, her carefully guarded world is starting to crack. What really happened behind the velvet ropes and flashing lights? And how much longer can Naomi keep the truth off the runway? Let's uncover the story no one else will tell. For most of her life, Naomi Campbell's story played out under a global spotlight. Every look, every walk, every whispered word dissected by the press. She was the ultimate image of untouchable glamour. Bold, brilliant, and entirely on her own terms. So when she suddenly announced the birth of a child, no warning, no buildup. The world did a double take. It happened in May 2021. No fanfare. Just a single Instagram post showing the tiniest pair of feet cradled gently in Naomi's hands. No face, no name, not even a hint of where or how this child had come into her life. The caption simply read, "A beautiful little blessing has chosen me to be her mother. So honored to have this gentle soul in my life." That was it. The fashion world gasped.
Girl, she sleeps very well. She hardly ever cries, and I'm told she's very alert for...
Was Naomi, who'd once said she wasn't ready for kids, now a mother? Who was the father? Had she adopted? The tabloids spiraled, but Naomi said nothing. Her silence spoke louder than any headline. Then, in 2023, it happened again. Another child. A son. Once more, the news came not through press releases or glossy features, but through her own quiet corner of the internet. In the image, Naomi is seated beside a small boy. Again, no face shown, with a caption simply calling him "my little darling." She referred to him as a gift from God. And once again, there was no press tour, no magazine spread, just love, privacy, and mystery. Eventually, Naomi confirmed both of her children were born via surrogate. But even then, the details stopped there. No names, no birthplaces, not a single clue about their biological background. In a world where celebrities compete for attention by showing off every moment of parenthood, Naomi did the opposite. She protected her children like secrets too precious to expose. But it wasn't just about privacy. Naomi's words hinted at something deeper. She called them her forever angels, her heartbeats, and said, "Everything I am for you." It was a rare glimpse behind the mask. A woman known for control and strength, revealing the most vulnerable part of herself. Still, the secrecy raised questions. Why now? Why so hidden? Had something changed in Naomi's world that made her pull back? Some fans speculated that motherhood softened her. Others believed she was guarding them from something darker, the kind of scrutiny she'd spent a lifetime navigating. And while Naomi's private life became more protected than ever, her public life was heading into turmoil. Because just as she stepped into motherhood with fierce grace and quiet resolve, another story, far less peaceful, was beginning to unfold. While Naomi was retreating from the spotlight to raise her 2 secret children, something very different was happening in public. A story that began with elegance and philanthropy was quickly unraveling into one of the biggest scandals of her career.
Said in any of my interviews that I would never get out of bed for $10,000.
No, I never said you did. We were just making it up as we went along.
It's a quote.
It all started with good intentions. Back in 2005, Naomi launched Fashion for Relief, a high-profile charity that combined fashion shows and fundraising to support disaster relief and humanitarian causes. It was flashy, glamorous, and effective.
I always wanted to stay down on the ground. I never wanted to believe in the hype. I just want to be me.
But celebrities flew in, designers donated pieces, millions were raised for global crises, from Hurricane Katrina to Ebola to the Haiti earthquake. For a while, it looked like Naomi had done the impossible. She wasn't just the queen of fashion anymore. She was a woman of impact, power, purpose. But then came the audit. In 2024, nearly 2 decades after the charity's founding, the UK's Charity Commission launched an investigation into Fashion for Relief. What they found shocked everyone. Only 8.5% of the charity's income had actually gone to charitable grants. The rest spent on luxury flights, 5-star hotels, private drivers, inflated consultant fees, and promotional events that raised more eyebrows than funds.
And the show got off to an astonishing start, with fashion royalty in the form of Naomi herself and Kate Moss appearing.
Lavish spending with barely any oversight. And worst of all, no clear financial controls in place. The commission concluded that Naomi had mismanaged the charity, and she was officially banned from serving as a trustee or director of any UK charity for 5 years. It was a devastating blow to her image. Naomi, once seen as a philanthropic force, now accused of failing to protect the very cause she championed. But Naomi wasn't going down quietly. She fired back, saying she'd been duped, that the real culprit was a former consultant who had used Fashion for Relief to enrich himself while committing identity fraud. According to her team, he posed as a government official, manipulated expenses, and covered his tracks while Naomi focused on the public face of the mission. Still, critics weren't buying it. How could she have not known? How did she allow such unchecked spending for years? And why hadn't she said anything sooner? The media swarmed. Headlines accused her of betrayal. The fashion world buzzed with gossip. For someone who had spent a career controlling the narrative, this was the first time Naomi had completely lost it. And behind the scenes, the tension was building. Naomi, already juggling motherhood and fame, now had to defend her name in front of the world. This wasn't a tabloid scandal she could shrug off. This was legal, financial, personal.
Supermodel Naomi Campbell is in hot water. She is accused of financial misconduct involving an anti-poverty charity that she founded.
Suddenly, the same woman who had once ruled the runway with fire in her eyes was now being asked the one thing she never liked hearing. Where were you when all this was happening? And just as the dust began to settle, something else lit the internet on fire. A video, a look, a few casual words. And suddenly, people were asking, is Naomi coming for Rihanna? In the world of fashion, one look can say more than 1,000 words. A subtle glance, a choice of fabric, a line dropped mid-conversation. These are the weapons of a seasoned icon. And Naomi Campbell, she's mastered them all. So when a short, seemingly harmless video sent the internet spiraling into a new round of "Did Naomi just shade Rihanna?" no one was truly surprised. The scene was elegant, almost too elegant. It was New York Fashion Week, September 2024, and Naomi was front and center at the Aliyah show, flanked by celebrity stylist La Roche. Both of them draped in understated silhouettes channeling the latest fashion obsession, demure. The idea was simple, but loaded. Elegance without exposure, mystery over spectacle. No glitter, no cleavage, no flash. Just quiet control. In Law's now viral Instagram video, the two walk slowly down the hallway, calm, poised, like they've already seen every headline that's about to be written. We don't go to the shows like other girls. Law quips, eyes hidden behind dark glasses. We don't come with our tatas out or our chichis out, very demure. Naomi doesn't miss a beat. She looks ahead and replies, very mindful. It's not about showing yourself. It's about showing the clothes. Harmless? Maybe. But the internet doesn't believe in coincidences.
Naomi Campbell is addressing her rumored feud with Rihanna. Weeks after the supermodel and La Roche were accused.
Just hours earlier, Rihanna had made her entrance at that same show, wearing a barely there custom crystal mesh dress over a corseted top that put every curve on full display. The moment was pure Rihanna. Bold, confident, untouchable. But as fans dissected the footage, one moment sparked the fire. Rihanna seemed to walk right past Naomi and Law without acknowledgement, heading straight to embrace Edward Enninful. That's all it took. Within minutes, TikTok was flooded with edits, reactions, and overanalyzed freeze frames. Did Naomi roll her eyes? Was that shade? Did Rihanna ignore them? Some fans even timed the eye contact. Theories exploded. Feud confirmed? Or was it just another case of fans creating drama out of nothing? La Roche wasn't having it. Days later, he clapped back with a sharp video on X, formerly Twitter.
What's so funny to me is that in this universe of the internet and social media that y'all live in.
What's so funny to me is that y'all think everything has to be something. Sometimes something is just nothing. Can y'all stop making ST up? Still, the video did little to calm the storm. Because when it comes to Naomi Campbell, nothing is ever just nothing. The media turned to Naomi, and in true Naomi fashion, she didn't tweet. She didn't post a reel. She went straight to the New York Times. When asked about the drama, she was cool, direct, and unmistakably clear. I'm not about to let the world pitch two Black women against each other. We are two women with two children, mothers.
Very demure. Very mindful. Very cutesy. Don't give too much. Just give a little.
No hashtags, no emojis. Just truth. Or at least, her version of it. And yet, something about her delivery left a lingering echo. Was it disappointment, frustration, or something deeper? A reflection of years spent in an industry that so often pits women, especially Black women, against each other for sport? It wasn't the first time these two powerhouses were linked by whispers. Back in 2017, fans noticed Naomi and Rihanna had unfollowed each other on Instagram. When pressed about it on TV, Naomi waved it off, saying, "Everything's fine. I don't have beef, especially with powerful Black women." But here we were, years later, another viral clip, another round of accusations, and even though both women tried to shut it down, the internet didn't care. Because Naomi doesn't need to start drama to be in the middle of it, she just has to exist. And while this moment was enough to send fashion Twitter into chaos, it was far from Naomi's most intense scandal. Before all this, there were other headlines, bigger ones, the kind that came with mugshots, lawsuits, and angry outbursts. Because Naomi Campbell didn't earn her reputation as fashion's fiercest icon by walking pretty down a runway. She fought hard, and sometimes she went too far. Before the children, before the charity, before the subtle shade and internet speculation, Naomi Campbell was already infamous. Not just for her beauty, not just for her walk, but for her temper. In the 90s and early 2000s, Naomi was a force of nature on the runway.
I have my career. You guys don't. You want what I have. And for me, it's a waste of my time.
Bold, untouchable, and electric. But off the runway, another narrative was building. One that would follow her for years. Rage. The headlines came in waves, assault allegations, police reports, court appearances, and at the center of it all, Naomi refusing to back down. She was accused of throwing a phone at her assistant, of striking a housekeeper, of lashing out at airport workers. In one case, she was ordered to attend anger management. In another, she had to perform community service, famously showing up to clean a New York sanitation facility in head-to-toe designer outfits. The media loved it. The image of the untouchable supermodel scrubbing floors in couture.
But starting today and for 4 more days, the supermodel will walk and clean the floors of this dingy department.
It was irresistible. But for Naomi, it wasn't a joke. It was humiliation. And yet, she never disappeared. Instead, she faced it, head on. In interviews, Naomi admitted to having a problem. She spoke about her childhood, her deep abandonment wounds, her battle with substance use. She didn't sugarcoat it. She didn't excuse it. She owned it. "I'm not proud of some of my behavior," she once told Oprah, "but I'm not going to let it define me." Still, the damage was done. For every Vogue cover, there was a mugshot. For every runway triumph, a tabloid scandal. And slowly, Naomi became a symbol of contradiction. Poised yet volatile, powerful yet damaged, admired yet feared. But that contradiction also made her unforgettable. Because unlike many of her peers, Naomi never tried to be perfect. She didn't hide behind PR teams or fake smiles. When she was angry, she showed it. When she was broken, she rebuilt. And when the world told her to step aside, she just walked louder. By the 2010s, Naomi's reputation began to shift again. She wasn't just a former supermodel. She was an elder stateswoman of fashion, a mentor, a legend. She began speaking out about racism in the industry, advocating for young models, using her platform for something bigger than herself. But for those who remembered her early years, the scars were still visible. And Naomi, for all her growth, never forgot them either. That's what makes her story so complicated, so magnetic.
When I wore it, did the fitting for it, what the designer said to me, what happened during that show, what happened after.
She's not a redemption arc. She's a collision of past and present. Always evolving, always raw, always Naomi. And even now, when she seems to have it all, children, legacy, peace, there's always the sense that something is simmering beneath the surface. Because for Naomi Campbell, calm is never just calm. It's the eye of the storm. For most people, the kind of scandals Naomi Campbell survived would have ended their careers. Assault charges, public meltdowns, tabloid takedowns, a charity scandal that nearly erased her credibility. But Naomi isn't most people. She's not just a survivor, she's a strategist. And after years of making headlines for all the wrong reasons, Naomi did what she's always done best. She walked back in like she never left. Her comeback didn't happen with a viral rebrand or a glossy tell-all. It happened slowly, intentionally, through moments of undeniable power. One of those moments came in 2019, when she closed the Valentino Couture show in a sheer beaded gown that stopped time. No words. Just Naomi, gliding down the runway with the same command she had in 1993. The message was clear. She never lost it. Then came the collaborations. She joined forces with brands like Pretty Little Thing, surprising fans who never expected a luxury icon to partner with a fast fashion label. But that was the point. Naomi wasn't trying to fit back into the old boxes. She was blowing them up, making high fashion accessible, redefining what it meant to be an icon in her 50s, and most importantly, reminding everyone that she still made the rules. Then, in 2023, the Supermodels hit Apple TV+. The docuseries reunited Naomi with fellow runway legends Cindy Crawford, Christy Turlington, and Linda Evangelista, and gave the world a front-row seat to their untold stories. Naomi, more raw than ever, spoke openly about racism in the industry, the pain of tokenism and the pressure to be perfect, while silently breaking down. It was a side of her the public rarely got to see. Not angry, not glamorous, just honest.
The act of not choosing models of color is racist.
And people listened. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. Naomi wasn't just the girl who threw phones. She was a mother, a trailblazer, a survivor of an industry that was never built to protect women who look like her. In 2024, she was named the face of campaigns for Boss and Alexander McQueen. She sat front row at Couture Week. She launched her own fashion pop-up. And still, she did it all while keeping her children entirely out of the spotlight. No interviews, no reality shows, just brief glimpses. 2 small hands holding hers in the woods, a beach photo with faces turned away. That privacy became part of her mystique. Proof that this new chapter of Naomi wasn't for the cameras. It was hers. Because Naomi Campbell didn't just come back. She reshaped the entire idea of a comeback. No apologies, no explanations. Just the same walk, the same stare, and a whole new level of control. But even now, with the world celebrating her again, there's one rumor that still lingers, one question people keep asking behind closed doors. Will Naomi be banned from the Met Gala? And if she is, what really happened between her and Anna Wintour? The Met Gala is more than fashion. It's a battleground, one where fame, influence, and personal alliances quietly determine who gets through the doors. And in 2025, all eyes weren't on what Naomi Campbell was wearing, but whether she'd even be allowed inside. The rumors started early. Whispers from insiders, unverified leaks, a single phrase circulating in fashion forums and anonymous gossip accounts. Naomi Campbell has been blacklisted. No one would confirm it, no one would deny it. But the buzz got louder. Some claimed it was fallout from her Fashion for Relief scandal. That after the financial controversy, key players in the fashion establishment were distancing themselves. Others pointed to her alleged tension with Anna Wintour, the Met Gala's gatekeeper and Vogue's long-reigning editor-in-chief. What caused this supposed fallout? That's where things get murky. Some reports suggest Naomi questioned editorial decisions made by Vogue. Others allege she was upset about being snubbed for the cover in favor of newer, younger faces. Women who wouldn't have walked a runway if Naomi hadn't kicked the doors down first.
And we're gonna get all these, and we're gonna snatch me in.
There were even whispers that she declined to attend certain winter-hosted events, which, in the inner circle of elite fashion, is the social equivalent of a declaration of war. Still, Naomi said nothing, no denials, no confirmations. She didn't post a "see you at the Met" teaser. She didn't drop a last-minute fitting video on TikTok. She simply vanished from the conversation. And when the Met Gala finally arrived, she was nowhere to be seen. Not on the red carpet, not in the background, not even in the after-party candid shots. Just absent. Was it a calculated snub from the queen of fashion herself? Or did Naomi, true to form, decide to skip the spectacle altogether, proving once again that she doesn't need a staircase moment to be the main character? Either way, her absence said more than any gown ever could. Because Naomi Campbell isn't just part of fashion history, she is fashion history. And when someone like that doesn't show up, people notice. The question is, what comes next? Naomi Campbell has never fit neatly into anyone's expectations.
But not whether I like it or not. We have been coined that. We have to embrace it and accept it.
I think it's amazing.
But I don't have any superpowers.
She wasn't supposed to be the face of high fashion. She wasn't supposed to challenge an industry that only wanted her as a token. And she definitely wasn't supposed to survive the scandals, the headlines, the relentless pressure, and still walk back into the room like she owned it. But she did. She built a career out of defiance, a life out of reinvention, and a legend out of silence. Because while the world demanded answers about her children, her charity, her feuds, her past, Naomi chose something else. She chose control. In a culture obsessed with oversharing, she built walls, protected what mattered, refused to be reduced to a viral clip or a scandal headline. Yes, there are contradictions. She's a mother who won't show their faces, a public figure who thrives in mystery, a woman once defined by rage, now cloaked in grace. But maybe that's the point. Naomi Campbell isn't trying to be understood. She's not looking for redemption or applause. She's simply living, fiercely, privately, and on her terms. Because in the end, the real story isn't what Naomi hides. It's how, after everything, every fall, every fight, every rumor, she still walks like nothing can touch her. And maybe, just maybe, nothing ever could.